Hello. So today, what are we doing? Well, it's Open Gardens weekend. Ooh. So we need to make the front garden look awesome for passers-by. And what does that mean? It means to fill it with flowers. You'll have to pardon, I think the neighbour is mowing his lawn because Sunday, well, we're shooting this on Sunday. Sunday, of course, is International Mow Your Lawn Day. But hope you don't mind. So let's talk potting up some summer bedding displays in pots. So we've gone with, boom, terracotta. You can see this like kind of bathy urn kind of shape. I think these are great. They're great when you plant trailing things around as well. They're not too deep, so you can see that. Now, it's summer bedding, so it's not like these things form deep tap roots. And you can almost kind of create a mini border if you go wider, as opposed to just getting your kind of regular standard, let's say specimen pot, 30 centimeter thing. You know, you get a lot of height. Well, for example, this. That's a lot of wasted ground, a lot of wasted soil. So of course, the wider you go, the more plants you can fit in and create some cool displays. So what are we going to plant? Now, this is only a small thing. It's called a terracotta rose bowl, really. And can you believe the price on this? $12.99, and this is heavy. So I got two for £24. Two for £24, two for 26. That's why I garden, I can't do math. But anyway, big heavy terracotta rose bowl. Now, prepping your pot. There's something that I never used to do, and I've realized the importance of it. And that is to put a little bit of, well, like a crock or a little bit of old terracotta pot or shard, you know, whack that over your hole. If I can actually show you, you take this, you have your drainage hole there. Now you see in these types of bowls, water is going to literally sit here. It's going to make drainage annoying. So if you don't do this, what tends to happen as you water and you water and you water, all the water stays here, and you get this really mucky, moist, over wet base, and your bedding plants will probably not like it. So you put this so you don't have this clogged up by very thick, heavy, wet compost. Okay, you do that, and you can see that's not flush. There's a little kind of escape route through there. Okay, now, if you don't have that, you can take a very cheap, you know, like these were $12.99. I think there is value in getting yourself something a bit smaller and just smashing it. You know, take out some of your frustration on it, break it up, collect the shards and use those, okay? Because in the long run, let's say you spend your hard-earned money on buying a pot, you spend your hard-earned money on buying plants, you have a great display for 3 weeks, you're watering, and then all of a sudden things start to go a little bit, what's happened? Too moist, you know, and you've, in the long run, you've, in a sense, perhaps wasted some money, or, you know, you lose a plant. It's quite sad. There's the mower. So I think it is worth it. What are we going to plant in here? So I found this little kind of pelargonium. This is called Frank Headley. I think this is great. Look at the pink, look at the variegation, and the great thing I love about these is typically when you crush these leaves, you get the most fantastic smell, and it just reminds you of the Mediterranean. There's a helicopter and a lawnmower. Getting a haircut in 2 days, so no more of this. So this is Frank Headley, a little variegated pelargonium. This should be flowering all summer long. and this is kind of the centerpiece. You know, when you're thinking about what you're going to plant, oh, I'm gonna have a seat in the jungle. So, you know, when you're walking around a garden center and, you know, looking for inspiration, you might find something that just, it's the one, it's love at first sight, and you just can't put it down. That's what happened when I saw this. So every other choice is built around Frank Headley Pelargonium. So we've got, now this is something that I have never heard of, seen, used, dealt with before. This is Brachyscome, and it does, yeah, essentially look like a little violet. Brasco Violet is the name of this, and you can see quite a lot of flower heads. Well, some flowers already out, but quite a lot more to come. You know what it really reminds me of? It reminds me of one of my favourite plants, and that of course is an aster, Aster fricati Monch, and this is like a mini version of it. And you can see this kind of purpley blue, and then, you know, we start to build this little composition, you know. So when we're like building a little summer bedding pot, think about, you know, not only kind of what's going to give you the most flowers, think about kind of, you know, your conditions. These, you know, in a sense are fitting a theme of, you know, Mediterranean, hot, dry climate. But think about where you want your bedding pot to go. You know, if you've got a sunny spot, really sunny, think pelargoniums. If you've got a shady spot, think begonias, you know, and kind of build around that. Or be like me and just kind of pick what you like. It's summer bedding, you know, you can't really go wrong. So we've got Frank Headley, we've got this Brachyscome, and a little accent plant. Now, you know, we're doing the rule of three here. It's not the biggest pot in the world, and you really want to give room to things to flower and grow, and give you that kind of blocky color. You can start to combine multiple pots in an area, and, you know, midsummer you won't even be able to see the pots, you know, if you combine trailing and non-trailing. But rule of three, threes are always good. For some reason the eye finds things in threes pleasant, and that's what we've gone for. And this is our third option here, our little kind of accent, and you can see the white there. And I picked that for a reason. So this is a little verbena. It's called Enchantment White, and I think it is enchanting. So if I can combine these for you, and you can kind of see what's happening. So you've got the white picking up on the pelargonium, so this is kind of accenting the pelargonium, okay, a continuation of, let's say. And then you've got this little, you know, I want to call it an aster, Brachyscome. That's kind of giving you a little contrast and a little interest. So you can kind of use that as a kind of creative reference point. You see that thing that you love in the garden center, you're thinking, wow, you are so beautiful. I want you, I'm taking you home today. Find something that kind of contrasts it, you know, or, you know, juxtaposes it in a way, whether that be flower color, whether that be leaf shape, whether that be, I don't, you know, anything that just kind of plays off it well. And then the third thing is something that kind of ties those things together, you know. So we've got three very different flower shapes, we've got a little bit of trailing, and we've got the kind of star. Now all these things are very kind of free flowering, and, you know, hopefully gives us color, you know, until August, September, October, even November. If it's a long season, you know, with climate change being what it is, we could keep these going on for a while. Okay, which takes me now to the substrate or the soil composition that we're going to use. Let me get my little spade. So in the pot next to me, if you can see, I'm yet to mix it up, but we planted up the Mediterranean border, and some of that rocky soil didn't actually go back into the ground. You know, I kept it, I always save things, you know, we're gardening on a budget, so waste not, want not, and it's good soil, you know, and it comes really in handy like this for doing these kind of little bedding pots. I've mixed that, that's already rocky, so that's going to help our drainage. I'm going to try and get that layer closer to the bottom of the pot, and then what I've got is a mix of regular garden compost, you know, that you buy at the shops, you know, even supermarkets usually have a great deal on it, and I've mixed that with some leaf mulch that I made, which I might show you how to do this autumn. And basically, well, here's a little kind of precursor insight to that. You collect leaves, you put them in a plastic bag, you put holes in your bag, and you wait. It took a couple of years, but it breaks down into this really nice, very light leaf mulch, and you can mix that into your kind of bought compost, or if you're making compost at home, it's fantastic. So all that creates our kind of little recipe, and that's what we're going to plant into. Now I'll probably be feeding these every week with a liquid feed, like a seaweed, like organic seaweed mix I typically use. So it doesn't necessarily matter if you have the richest soil, you know, kind of planting medium in your pot, as long as you know that and you balance it out by adding liquid feed, and that's what's going to give you essentially the most bang for your buck and the most flowers. Okay, summer bedding can kind of go and free flower for quite a while, but if you want the best flowering display, give them a little feed, they will appreciate it. So we're gonna put some of this in just into our pot over our crock. I'll give you a view in just a moment. Make sure your crock doesn't move away from that planting hole, and you know what, I'm just going to get in with my hands. In fact, I think we can kind of tip this in. Now, I'm doing two today because symmetry, and I'm a big sucker for symmetry. I've also watered these. Now the second verbena, unfortunately I left him on the patio for a couple days unattended, and he must have been dry when I bought him and I hadn't noticed, so he's a bit sad. But when this happens, you can save things. I've brought things back before, but basically you soak it, 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 and hopefully it comes back. There is a point where it'll be too far gone, and there's no turning back from that, so you'll either have to get a new one or just hope, or what you may do is soak it. If you see any kind of growth kind of springing back to life, you can cut back to that new growth, and you can save your plant. Okay, but yeah, it's hot, it's a little heat wave in Britain. Stay on top of watering your pots, you know, go out every morning, have your tea, think about, you know, what the day ahead is going to be, have your little moment, but look at your pots, look at your little plants and see if they need water. Okay, so crocks in the second pot. I'm just going to now whack this in. So we've got a bit of that mix, we've got a bit over here. Now once you're kind of at your midline, you can put things in and see how they start to look. So by midline I literally mean, so that's what I mean, kind of the soil's halfway. Okay, now depending on how you want to do this and what you have. I might actually top up a little bit more, and there's a reason. So once you're kind of a bit over halfway, you can kind of foresee when you put your little plant in where the soil height will be. Okay, now this verbena, I want it to trail, so you actually want to plant it a little bit higher, and you want to angle it to kind of help it along. And I'm going to flip the camera so you can see what I mean. So do you see that? It's angled forward slightly, so we can get that kind of growing over effect a little bit quicker, and we can help it along. Okay, and I can see that we're going to need to add more soil to get this little verbena kind of to the point that we want. So I'm going to put some more in. We'll kind of arrange this, just make sure that we're happy with how it looks, and you know, whether the verbena is going to be on the left or the right. I do think the geranium's going to, or the pelargonium will be in the middle. Okay, I'll put some more soil in, see you on the other side. Right, so I'm happy with the soil level. A little bit pot bound. Now these were on sale. I managed to get 10 bedding plants for 20 quid, which I think is a pretty good deal nowadays in this economy. And you can see I'm just breaking this up, and I always get quite vigorous here. You know, you want these roots coming out, kind of like that. Okay, so we're going to put him just at the front trailing. Let's take a brachyscome. Oh yeah, he's very pot bound. Break him up a little bit. Now you don't kind of want to break the roots, you kind of just want to help to untangle them and start angling them out. Just like that. So I think he'll go there. We want to give things space still. I'll show you in a moment, don't worry. Pelargonium's not looking too bad actually. That's actually quite nice, look at that. So you've got to kind of find the front of things, and I think we'll put him this way. And again, we want to give things room. So let me tilt this. Can you see that? What do you think? Not bad, hey? I kind of like it. I'll finish putting some soil in, some compost, and then I'll give you a look from a different angle, a better angle, and you can see, you know, leave a comment what you think, what you would have done, and perhaps even some of your favorite summer bedding plants, you know, because I think I'm going to make a few more of these, because my mantra for this year is fill it with flowers. And that is our finished summer bedding pot. I think that'll look gorgeous on the patio. Now, a couple of notes. You want to firm everything in still, you know. Don't treat it differently just because you think, oh, it's summer bedding, you know. It can tolerate more. Or it doesn't matter, it's not going to be here next year. If we play our cards right and overwinter this pelargonium, perhaps in a glass house or maybe a shed, or even in a conservatory if you're lucky to have one, or on a windowsill, we might be able to get it to survive and see through to next summer. Don't be tempted as well when you're looking at this. I know a lot of people will be tempted to plant something here because there's a little gap, but we want to give room to this to grow. We want to give room to this to grow. Okay, I think that is quite special. Lovely, reminds me of France. So we're going to water this in quite a bit as well, quite a bit of water, and that is where we'll have the water kind of drain. We'll wash that kind of pot, make it look really nice. So I'm going to plant up the second one. I just washed these shorts and now they're so dirty. But I'm going to do the second one. I won't put you through that. But what I will show you is taking them to just by the front door. Again, today's Open Gardens Day, so there's going to be a lot of people walking by, people that want to see flowers and colour and prettiness. So really they're going to end up on the back patio, but just for today I'm going to have them on either side of the door. You can also have a little update and see how they kind of tie in with those two window borders that we've redone. And here is the finished product. Couldn't quite get the dirt off that one, but I think that is working a treat. As well, that kind of little brachyscum kind of picks out the door colour, juxtaposes really well with the white. Glorious summer. And you can kind of see, although probably not very well, you can't see it through the steeper, but when I look with my eyes you can kind of see the little colours of the bedding that we did through there. In fact, actually, if I turn around, well, there's an aerial shot, but if I turn around and we can kind of get that, oh no, you still don't get it. Maybe if I walk you through you'll see what I mean, but we've got this, and then we go through, and then we've got these little bits of colour. So it all kind of ties together. Right, that was just a quick one for today. Get out, plant your summer bedding, plant up loads of pots to give you some awesome displays. I can keep you updated with how those go. They will, after today, I might give it the weekend, I'll move them into the little kind of Mediterranean patio I've been working on, and I can show you that. So yeah, thanks for watching. Leave a comment down below what you thought. Maybe name some of your favourite summer bedding, because I'm going to be going to the garden centre again because I have a problem, and I'm going to be probably doing a couple more pots. So if there's any kind of combos that you kind of were thinking of, that you've been too scared to try, that you want to see, put it down and I'll see what I can do. Cheerio.